Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in pints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my friend, the crocodile hunter, Frank. How are you today?
Good day, mate.
Hey, good day.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, that's not the crocodile hunting I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
We should do an episode on the crocodile hunter. I have 5 minutes of things to say about it.
I have nothing to say about it.
Anyway,
Never seen.
You have a beer
I do.
for me. I don't know what it is.
You don't. And this is not a themed beer or anything. Although now that I think about it, we probably could have done a main beer for this, but that's fine. There's plenty of other chances to drink good main beer. This is a beer that I picked up after seeing. I'll tell the story after, but tell people what I just pulled out.
The 1993 Repeal Reserve Budweiser Amber Lager.
1933.
What did I say?
1993.
Oh, 1933.
1933. So Budweiser has, for a limited time, put out their original pre-prohibition recipe.
Whoa.
And it's it's a little bit of a stunt. I was reading the history of it, and I think Coors did it a couple of years ago too, and a couple of those other brewers who've been around for a while did it. But I saw this. My local liquor store has an Instagram account that's quite well run, and I saw it the other day, and I was like, "Ooh!" They posted they had it, and I was like, "I need to try that." So I figured, hey, why not? Why not bring it, and we both get to try it.
That's cool.
So I
wish
not...
we had. I wish this was. We've already done the Great Gatsby, but I wish this was like our Gatsby episode or something.
I was gonna see if like an old gangster or something would be cool with Prohibition, but the labels look like
they used to.
Like they used to. Yeah, I'm gonna open this for you and give you one.
I want to reach.
Yes,
reach for it.
Go.
That's a good sound. You have going there.
Viewers. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and open one up.
Even
for
the
myself.
bottles are bottles are
right?
different. The neck is a lot shorter. It's like it's just stockier.
It's like Switchback does with their bottles. It's the old-fashioned bottles, and it's got their insignia imprinted on the glass, and it's just a nice looking bottle, and the old gold label and everything. So
this is so cool.
This may be better, may not be any better. I've heard it's better than regular Budweiser, but let's try it for ourselves.
Let's try.
Let's go. Oh, that's definitely better than regular
definitely
Budweiser.
better than regular Budweiser.
Yeah. It's not like mind-blowingly amazing beer, but it's good. It's definitely
good,
better than
solid beer.
It tastes
like beer.
Like a decent. Yes, exactly, like a decent craft beer. So yeah, it's an amber lager, the 1933 Repeal Reserve.
It's got a 6.1.
Yeah, so
that's 6.1 more than what Bud has now.
Pretty much. Apparently, the old recipe was 5.0, and so they modified this a little bit from so it's not exactly 100%. The original recipe, but it is modified a little bit to be a little heavier, a little higher alcohol content.
I joke. Regular Bud I like. I don't care for Bud Light. It's a little too light.
I would actually.
But when you kind of want to have like a cool drink and you know what I mean, and you don't want to think about now I've got to drive or whatever. It's not a bad way to go.
To me, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but if I'm going to drink beer that bad, like that
light,
I would rather drink a Bud Light because at least then it's like, well, at least I'm not going to it's like fewer calories and stuff.
Oh,
too.
I meant Bud Light particularly.
I like Bud Light's fine. Yeah. But regular, Bud Heavy, I just don't drink unless I kind of have to.
I don't drink if it's the only option,
only beer. Yeah,
I'll go for it.
Or obviously, if someone offers it to me, I'm not going to be rude and be like, no, I don't want your crappy beer.
Right.
But this is better.
Most popular beer in America. Bud Light.
Yeah.
Budweiser is the most popular in Canada.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Not like Molson or something. No, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I will give this like a solid B. You know, like solid B plus.
I'd give it a B plus.
Yeah,
B plus. And I don't know if that rating is based on the alphabet or not. I'm giving it a solid little honeybee, with a little plus sign next to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I don't know if the grade is higher because I'm thinking of what Bud is normally.
We're probably grading on a little bit of a curve where we're like, well, it could be a lot worse, so I'll give it a B plus. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. If you served me this beer and told me it was some obscure craft beer, some craft brewery, local or whatever, I'd try it and I'd be like, oh, that's not half bad.
It's pretty good. I'd
that's
probably,
not half bad.
If this is what's offered, I'd definitely have a few more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we got a 6 of them here, so.
Well, so there will be a few more.
All right. So
we're moving on. We did another segment of our wonderfully popular. Let me tell you why it's wonderful.
Yes,
indeed. This time it was your turn to watch something of mine, and that thing was David E. Kelley's Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, 1999, is it?
1999, Lake Placid, Fox Studios.
Yeah, well, it was a movie.
This is a movie about a crocodile that somehow ends up in Maine and is ransacking. It's
just terrorizing the people.
The people and the animals of Maine.
Of this lake that is not called Lake Placid, but they wanted to call it that, but then they found out there was already a Lake Placid.
Not in Maine.
So then they were like, well, we'll still call the movie this.
Yep.
For reasons.
I don't understand.
I think that feels like a marketing department decision of like, oh, well, it's like a pun, get it? Because it's like not actually placid in the lake. And there's a place called Lake Placid, so...
Right. If there wasn't a place called Lake Placid, it would make more sense, or just set it at Lake Placid.
It's stupid. It's a stupid title. Okay, so it's... There were things about this movie. There was some funny dialogue. There were some funny quips back and forth. Should also mention that we finished watching this movie like 10 minutes ago. So a lot of the things aren't, and I didn't really take notes. I was trying to I figure, well, we're gonna talk about it right after.
Right.
Turns out maybe I should have taken some notes because a couple of the lines that were funny would have been better, but oh well. There were some funny quippy lines. Overall, I would say this movie is like Jaws meets Jurassic Park. Jaw-rassic Park, if you will.
And that's absolutely the pitch for this movie. David E. Kelley goes in and says, I want to make Jurassic Park and Jaws.
Jurassic Shark.
Jurassic,
no, it's not even shark.
But it's not even a shark, it's crocodile.
Yeah.
Because the template for the Jaws template is used, right?
Right.
You have, with an extra character, you have the sheriff.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have the sheriff. That's the, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yep.
You have the fish and wildlife. You have the Quint-ish character, the Quint-ish character that's, this is what we do. We hunt, we hunt these things and, we make sure the nature is okay and blah, blah, blah. And you have the specialist.
Right.
You have your trio plus Bridget Fonda.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so the personalities are kind of looped in a different way, except for the specialist in some way. The specialist is still like I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm rich, just like Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
I do all of this myself.
But I also so I thought he was going to be, Oliver Platt's character was going to be the Newman.
Oh,
and I thought he was
Jurassic Park Newman.
And I thought he was going to, get killed on the toilet.
No, the lawyer gets killed on the toilet.
Oh shoot, you're right. Yeah. But I thought he was going to be more of that piece aside. I thought he was going to be more of that character when he first appeared. But it turns out, yes, he was more of the Richard Dreyfuss.
He's the Richard Dreyfuss.
He was.
In fact, none of them are. Newman.
No, none of them are. So it was amusing. It was funny for the most part. it just wasn't super. And there was some pretty good action. You know, the scenes where the crocagator is actually going after him and stuff were pretty good.
Yep.
Betty White was delightful,
wasn't she?
Just swearing like a sailor,
swearing up a storm.
And so she's been feeding the croc.
That's
for
correct.
6 years.
That's correct.
It followed her husband home one day.
Yep.
And then it accidentally killed her husband, but she doesn't hold it against it.
That's right.
And she keeps feeding it.
Because she'd be crazy.
And she keeps feeding it cows.
Mm-hmm.
Whole live cows.
Whole cows. Where she gets these cows and how can she afford to do this? Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
She had no problem telling an officer of the law that she killed her husband.
Nope.
Even when that wasn't actually true.
That's correct.
She still had no problem just being like, oh, yeah, I killed him. Yeah, he wanted me to.
Because then, according to her, what she's been doing is not illegal. And so, technically, she shouldn't have a problem telling them it's a crocodile as opposed to killing her husband.
If she really believes it's not illegal,
yep,
she shouldn't have a problem saying that.
Yep. And it is obstruction of justice.
It is obstruction of justice. That is true.
And where is she at the end of the film?
Not in jail.
Still at home, feeding baby crocodiles.
That was the best. That was the funniest thing in the whole movie. Because we found out there were two giant crocodilators.
One was giant, one was regular size.
One was regular? Okay. Mm-hmm. It was like a perspective thing. I couldn't tell. I thought one of them was giant. Okay. So I thought like, I guess they mated, and they made all these baby crocs that are going to grow up to be giant. So then I don't really know what happened. Or where
they made Lake Placids 2, 3, and 4.
They did? Yeah. Okay.
I knew John Schneider is in the third one, I think.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. So, you assigned me this movie.
Yes.
And you told me, don't look at who's in it, like, until you're watching it.
Okay.
Because there's somebody big in it that you're going to like.
Oh,
you said something along those lines.
That person was Betty White.
That person was Betty White, as it turned out. I was looking at, you said, and also, like, be careful. Offline, you told me, like, be careful because there's more than one. So, like, make sure you're watching the right one, 1999. And so I went to look to see what, what streaming service I could watch it on or whatever.
Sure.
And I accidentally saw, Lake Placid 3, because I saw John Schneider's name next to it. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this is what Tim didn't want me to see. He didn't want me to see John Schneider's in the movie. Oh, well, I won't tell him that I found out. So even going into the movie tonight, I thought I was waiting for John Schneider's name to pop up.
Oh no!
And then Betty White popped up, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And you were like, "Yeah, that's the one." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
And then silently you were just sad.
No, I wasn't. Not at all. Oh my God, are you kidding me? No, I wasn't sad at all.
That John Schneider wasn't in the movie.
No, I just figured. Well, I was just, okay, it must be a different movie. So it turns out that was the third one. Okay, that's what that was.
I'm pretty sure it was the third one.
Well, whichever. It doesn't really matter. I don't think I'm going to be watching 2, 3, or 4. So
I've never actually seen the other ones. This one is enough for me. I don't actually.
Yeah.
I don't need the other ones in my life. It's okay.
This was so. Tell me about how did you first see this movie?
Oh, he's in the second one.
He's in the second one.
He's in the second one.
Okay.
I had to look it up. I used my lookup. I saw this movie in the summer of 1999. I think it came out in August. I have a fairly clear memory of this.
Wow.
And my cousins were visiting. My cousins were visiting from Wyoming.
Oh wow.
And this was the thing in the movies, and it was my brother and my cousin and I. We just went to go see it, and we were one of the only people in the theater.
Nice,
of course, of course.
So it did well at the box office, is what you're saying?
Oh, so well at the box office with its 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh man,
yeah, and 40%. This movie has 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. I want to put that in. I want to put that in perspective.
Okay.
I want to put that in perspective for a second. Just as a feeling. Batman v Superman has 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie has 40%. 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my God. That's so wrong.
Isn't that wrong?
That's so wrong. I mean, I was no huge fan of Batman v Superman, but it doesn't deserve to be ranked lower than this movie.
No, it doesn't.
And not by a 13-point spread.
That's a huge difference. Suicide Squad has a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie is 14 points higher than Suicide Squad.
This piece of crap. Oh my God! I mean, listen, it has its moments. It's amusing at times. It's funny.
I don't think the movie's not overly scary. I think
it's not overly scary.
The beginning is a little creepy because it does the Jaws thing where you can't see it, you don't know where it is. It holds back its reveal and whatever else.
And it's it's scary if you are opposed to bloody, gory. Like there and there's not even that many moments of it, but there's a couple of very graphic things like that opening sequence.
Right, exactly. And so so it has those, but the writing of David E. Kelley makes it. His dialogue is so snappy, and it's not even really corny. Like the dialogue is delivered. It's good. It's almost good. The premise is so dumb. That that's what can't save it. You know,
it is mostly the dialogue is mostly pretty good. Things that the Bridget Fonda character is from New York City.
The museum in New York.
The museum. They call it the museum in New York. She's from New York. Everybody else is from Maine. Takes place in Maine. I have exposure to both of those places. I'm from New York. My wife's from Maine.
Indeed.
Spent a good chunk of time in both places. And I feel like this movie did I don't know where David E. Kelley is from. I mean, imagine it's not Maine, but I could be wrong.
I'm going to assume that's wrong. I'll use your lookup if you want.
Okay, sure. Yeah, since you've got it open already, go ahead. But I feel like he did much more. He did right by Mainers more than he did by New Yorkers.
Oh, definitely.
Like he just. I mean, the Bridget
David Kelley was born in 1956 and is originally from Maine.
No kidding, really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Hey, wow, that's awesome. Good
Attended
for me.
Princeton and BU Law School.
Okay. All right. I would not have
He was
guessed.
married to Michelle Pfeiffer.
Wow.
I'm learning a lot here.
Huh. All right, so it's from Maine. Did it say we're in Maine? Where he was born?
Waterville.
I have no idea where that is. Okay. Well, anyway, so that would explain why he did right by Maine.
It's north of Augusta.
Got it. Okay. Well, he so that explains why he knows Mainers so well, and his contempt for New Yorkers was pretty obvious.
Whoa, is it ever?
Oh my
Everyone
God.
from New York in this movie is
just
terrible.
An awful person.
But see, Bridget Fonda learns not to be terrible.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, her hair starts in a tight updo, and by the end of the movie, it's down because she's loosened up.
She's let loose
and stuff. Yeah,
and Mariska Hargitay is her best friend, who's also sleeping with her boyfriend, who also is her boss.
Yep.
Everybody's terrible. Bridget Fonda is awful when she comes to Maine at first, and she's just like talking about how they're all
right. I love when they're flying in, and the pilot's like, "So this is the town," and she's like, "Don't talk to me." That pilot is actually the director.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Steve Miner.
Oh, nice.
Who I should say is not a. I don't want to call him a schlub. He's not a schlub director like I've never seen or heard from him again. He directed Halloween H2O and Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, wow.
Which is, the real Jason Voorhees as opposed to the mother of Friday the 13th.
So he is well versed in horror movie sequels.
He's got some he's got some cred on him, I guess, from there.
Did he direct any of the Lake Placid sequels?
I don't believe so.
Anyway, interesting. Huh, I'm learning all kinds of stuff right now.
There you go.
Minor, David E. Kelley. So John Ottman scored this movie.
Yes.
Which I was surprised about, but it was actually a pretty decent score.
I think it's a good score.
He gets put in this place over and over again of having to fill John Williams' shoes with Superman Returns, with this, obvious Jaws parallel movie.
Yep.
He's gotten put in that position a couple times now. And he's a very pretty respectable composer.
He's a fairly talented man because he's
a film editor too.
He's a film editor. He edits all of Bryan Singer's films and scores the films, which is a smart combination, right?
It really is a smart combination.
Most directors they edit to a particular score in mind. which is a temp track. It's not meant to be the real score, but when you do that, then the composer gets stuck in this place where they have to compose music based on what was already in the director's mind from another film.
Yes, which has been the bane of so many composers' existence, especially the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, Danny Elfman has it.
Yeah.
A huge
he does.
Rant about it.
There's a really good YouTube video. If I can find it, I'll throw it in the show notes. There's a really good YouTube video that talks about why all the Marvel scores sound the same. Have you watched this?
Yes, I think that's actually where where
Elfman.
you can see the Danny Elfman rant about it. I mean, rant makes it sound bad, but he's very to the point, and it does create a problem. This score doesn't really sound like anything else, so it doesn't sound like Jaws. It doesn't do Jaws.
Although at one point there was one tiny moment where he did like bump, 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 like maybe 2 or 3 blares of the. I think it was strings. Like he kind of
just a little bit,
a little homage, a tiny little homage where he actually threw in something that sounded like the
That's
Jaws.
true. If you don't keep doing it, then it's a homage.
Yeah.
If you do it over and over and over again,
exactly,
then you're ripping it off.
Then you're ripping it off. But he did a little like dun, 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 type of thing that sounded just a little bit. It was like a second, and it was if you blinked, you missed it. But
I think I actually did miss it on this go around.
Yeah. And maybe I was reading too much into it. I mean, it is just 2 notes. But
this movie is also Jaws in Maine with a crocodile.
It is very much. So
that probably why I like it so much.
Yeah, that probably is
because I love Jaws. It's one of my favorite films,
right.
And so I've never really thought about it, but it does make sense to me that I would like this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I could also hate this movie because it's a blatant Jaws ripoff.
True, but it's done with enough. And you saw it at the right age.
I did, 1999, so I was 10 or 11. Yeah.
That's the right age.
Yeah, maybe just about turned 12 because I was
okay.
Yeah, just turned 12, and so I was just at that age where they're funny and it's quippy and whatever else, and it's almost like an informative age.
It is, yeah. That's an age where a lot of things imprint on you, right? And you they stay with you for a while. So the music was very good. The editing was. I don't think he edited. I don't think John Ottman edited.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he did. But and interesting. This would have the same year as X-Men, I guess, huh? 99 or X-Men 2000.
X-Men was 2000.
2000. Okay,
so it was the year out. Yeah, this was the X-Men was the year after.
Yeah. Okay.
Same studio though.
Same studio.
Yeah.
Same studio. The effects were pretty good.
Well, Stan Winston is practical effects for the crocodile.
Yeah.
Because they were like, you made dinosaurs. Can you just make
right?
Could you just elongate
right
for us and make a crocodile? Not a lot of Stan Winston in here.
No, because it was mostly CG. At least I got
especially by the
when
end.
It was on land.
It was CG mostly by the end.
When it was on land, it was definitely mostly CG. But in water, I think there was a lot of practical. And even on land, there were some shots where you could tell, like, if it was like right near the camera, like you could tell that it was like a half model thing.
I think the one that's most striking is when Oliver Platt is in the water, it turns around and the crocodile is right there, because that's a practical effect, and the crocodile is monstrous, and it looks great. The crocodile measures. Because at the end, it's on a flatbed, which is 45 feet, and it covers the flatbed. So it's a 45-foot crocodile, which is like, I want to say it's 25 feet bigger than any crocodile ever recorded.
Wow.
So it is a monster. It's not realistic.
How did you know 45 feet? Because they kept saying 30 feet.
The flatbed?
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah, that's like, that is a huge animal. The paw print, like the track that they found that they were trying to make a casting of, like, it's bigger than your head, giant paw prints.
It's definitely, they wanted to make it like a dinosaur,
right?
Because that's why Kelley, who I love that David E. Kelley wrote a main character.
Oh,
with his
I didn't
last
think
name.
about that. Yeah.
But that's why she's there, because the one museum in New York was contacted to send send her, and the whole time, like, museums don't send paleontologists to Maine, and I'm like, well, they might.
I mean, if you found what seems to be probably a dinosaur, they might. They're
like, no, dinosaurs weren't in Maine. Lols, hangs the phone. like, no.
So why is this movie wonderful?
Why do I like this movie so much?
Why is this movie wonderful?
It's a good question. I don't really know. This is something where I can't pinpoint. I think it's stupid fun. Like there's no point to it. It's less than an hour and a half of your time.
It's like an hour and 15.
It's like an hour. It's an hour and 15 if you don't watch the credits.
Right.
It's almost a nothing. It's almost a nothing movie.
75 minutes. Like
right.
Very
I've seen
little
cartoons that are longer than this movie.
Yeah.
And
Beauty and the Beast is like that long.
Right. It's a nothing movie, and I think it's fun to watch. It's really, I guess, for character interaction that I enjoy because Bridget Fonda's good, Bill Pullman's good, Oliver Platt is great, Brendan Gleeson is great. You know, Betty White is hysterical. God, yeah. And so I think it's just like a mindless, it's a movie that should not have been in the theater, but it was.
It feels like a direct-to-video movie.
Yes. It's a direct-to-video movie with a B-A- cast. Because this was before Brendan Gleeson was famous and making award-winning films.
Right.
I don't know what happened to Bridget Fonda.
I don't know what she's been up to in the last 17, 18 years.
This is just a few years after Independence Day, so Bill Pullman's kind of...
Yeah, he's still riding high. He's only 3 years after.
Right, still riding the Bill Pullman wave, the Independence Day wave. You know, and all this is my first movie that I ever saw Oliver Platt in or Brendan Gleeson. And they're just delightful.
They are.
I think it's really the incredible amount of sarcasm that's in this film that attracts me to it.
There really is. There is so much sarcasm.
Brendan Gleeson even commented on in the film where he's like, the first conversation you hear in the movie is him talking to a Fish and Wildlife guy about how they don't like the sheriff's office. You only get one-word answers. And he's like, oh, one word, sarcastic. And then he meets Bill Pullman, who's sarcastic in full sentence. He's like, oh, a full sentence sarcastic. Like it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It just keeps going.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
It is. It does actually capture some things, I think, about Maine pretty accurately.
Okay, explain.
So my wife is from Maine.
Take a drink. Frank mentioned his wife.
Her family, they have this little cabin, and we go up there in the summer, and it's near a lake. And
has your mother-in-law been known to bring bread down to the dock to feed the crocodiles?
Not that I know of, but maybe she's keeping it a secret like Betty White did. I don't know. But and so we didn't really see a whole lot of the town, whatever town was near the lake. So I can't really compare that. But I don't know, the general feel of the attitude of the people, the sheriff and the Fish and Wildlife and
sure.
Fish and Game warden. Like they just all, it seemed something rang true about it. It looked like maybe it might have been shot in Maine, or at least someplace that looked very much like it.
It was shot in Canada.
Shot in Canada. All right. Well, there you go. But yeah, there was something that felt real, and then the New Yorker came in and just started being like, "Wow, everything's dirty. You're probably sleeping with your sister." Wow, like just came in, and I was just like, "This is so heavy-handed. This is so heavy-handed."
But it is the jokes.
Yeah,
they are the jokes that we make about.
Oh yeah,
about we make everybody makes jokes about different states. That's just part of being in America.
Yes, right. All the city people make redneck jokes. All the people in the more rural areas make
city jokes,
rude city slicker jokes. Like yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's just what it is.
Absolutely.
And so it is like it is a clash of civilizations almost in here, but we all unite together because it's not just it's not city and rural versus nature. It's just people versus nature. It's man versus nature.
That's right. It was a fun movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again unless someone like really, really wanted to.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I would watch it again tomorrow.
Good for you. So okay, let's do a little retrospective here. So far, I have watched Judge Dredd.
Yep.
And Lake Placid.
That's correct.
You have watched Xanadu and Tron Legacy. I really, really enjoyed Judge Dredd.
Yep.
This was fine.
This was fine.
Lake Placid was fine. It was very entertaining in parts. I definitely was not bored. I definitely wasn't sitting there being like, "Oh my God, why does he make me watch this?" Like none of that. I would tell you if I did feel that way.
Sure.
But it was fine. It was good. It was. I liked Judge Dredd a lot better than I liked this.
This Lake Placid to you was Tron Legacy to me.
Okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
You'd have to pretty much twist my arm to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't run into the other room.
Sure.
It would be on and it would be fine. Sure. I was amused during parts. for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I would probably not even spend much time watching. If I was flipping channels and this was on, I might pause on it for a second and be like, oh, what part of the movie are they up to? Oh, okay, I know where we are. And then I change the channel. Whereas
Sure.
if I was changing channels and Judge Dredd came on, I'd be like, that's it. We're watching the rest
We're
of this now.
watching Judge Dredd. He is the law.
Yeah.
I have to
Oh,
watch
good.
this.
It's only 15 minutes in. I can watch most of it.
Yeah.
I would even absolutely. I would seek out Judge Dredd and watch it again. When the mood struck me, I'd be like, I feel like watching that again. But this probably not.
It's funny. This movie, I would stay on, except if it was the end, and not because it's the end. I missed most of it, but because the most amusing parts to me are when they're like, "It's a crocodile. It's not a crocodile.
Right,
what do
right,
we
right.
do? We're at a party, but now that you're here, whatever." Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite bits.
Okay.
You promised not to hurt him. Remember, I lied.
That was funny. Yeah, that was a good one.
Things like that. Sheriff, some things don't stick out when friends or family say them to you. So, as a total stranger, I'm going to say this to you now: you're fat. So dumb.
I would like a buddy movie with the two of them.
They're so good. Oliver Platt's face at the end when Brendan Gleeson is like, when he's going in the ambulance, Brendan Gleeson's like, I'll go with him. He's like, no, I made a friend.
I know.
It's like we're gonna have many adventures together.
Especially because earlier he was trying to bond with him, and the sheriff was like, "It's better if we don't talk."
Yeah,
he was like, "I'm trying to make a friend here," and he's like, "Nope, bye bye."
No, sorry.
Super funny. The traps when he kept
falling in the traps. He paid us $500. He's like, you took money from him.
A check.
Yeah, we took a check. Yeah. So good.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just little things like that. I think movies. Sometimes I'm easily amused, or I like movies that just kind of tickle my funny bone when I don't expect them to.
Sure, yes.
Sometimes my favorite, I guess, comedies or things that I find amusing are not comedies.
Yeah.
You don't know when a movie sets out to amuse you that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite style of comedy, I think. Snappy dialogue, sarcastic wit. Everybody's taking a master class in sarcasm.
Right.
And jokes.
The whole movie doesn't take itself too seriously.
Not even
there's nothing super dramatic about. I mean, it's dramatic in that it's scary, but it's not a great character piece. It's not trying to be. It's just it's not taking itself too seriously. It's a little bit of a schlocky horror movie to enjoy. And
it would almost do better if it was promoted as a spoof on Jaws.
Yeah.
As opposed, because it does take itself just seriously enough that it's not presenting to you a comedy or a spoof. It's just presenting to you a film.
Right. It's not pretending to be. It's not presenting itself as a spoof of here's scary movie. Jaws edition or whatever,
right,
and it's not. It doesn't feel like that either.
No,
but I do hear what you're saying, that if it was sort of marketed that way, it might do better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go in treating it serious in any way, then maybe you're scared a little bit because you're not expecting to be. But
your guard's down.
You laugh a bunch. It's just it's a good time.
It's fun. I would say it is the kind of thing that if I had stumbled upon it on TV. That I would have probably just watched it and I would have laughed at how bad it is.
Sure.
Which is basically what I did when we watched it. So
you did laugh quite a bit.
I did. It was funny. It had a lot of funny moments.
Yeah.
So overall, yeah, it was fine. It was pretty good. But it has now come time. The time has come for me to give you your next assignment.
Yay!
Okay. You might the first one that I have in mind you may have seen already, so I have it back up just in case.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Walt Disney's Melody Time?
No, I haven't. And it's interesting that you say that because I was just listening to a podcast about it. And
I think I was listening to the same podcast.
Disorder. Every Disney movie in order. It's a great.
Did you listen to their episode on it?
I started it, and then I said, you know what? I have not seen this, and I can't follow it without.
It's hard. Yeah. That's actually what brought it to mind. Partly because I want to watch it again. So
okay, all right.
I haven't seen it in many years, but I remember enjoying it and listening to the Disorder review of it. They kind of gave it a middle of the road review. I think it's more fun than they gave it credit for. So I would like to revisit it, and I would like your take on it, because it's one of the Disney they're called package films. Basically, they took a bunch of shorts and put them together into
an anthology of animated vignettes sent to contemporary music.
Yes.
I'm gonna look at some photos of this. Oh nope, I definitely haven't seen this.
Okay.
I've seen some of them.
Maybe you've seen some of the vignettes.
Look at the one where there's a guy in a carriage with a girl, or a sled with a girl.
Yep.
There's the tugboat, which I've seen.
Little Toot went out one day.
There's a guy on a horse, which I think I've seen.
Yeah.
The Three Caballeros.
Well, there's a few different Three Caballeros things from different movies, so you may or may not have seen that one. I don't know.
Oh, the cover is even super familiar. I think I might have seen this many, many, many years ago, like when I was just a little kid.
Old tyke.
But I couldn't tell you the order of things, or if it's any good or not. Or
we'll count that as not having seen it. That seems like you're unfamiliar enough that it. If you watch it today, it would be like the first time seeing it.
Yeah, I could not. Yeah, can't tell you enough about it. So,
okay.
Melody time it is.
All right, sounds good.
Melody time it is. Okay.
All right. Well,
that means that you can find us on the internet at all places podcasts can be found, such as Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google, Overcast, all the such things. You are more than welcome to go to beerwithgeeks.com and find us there, or thoughtbubbleaudio.com, where you can check out all of our other Thought Bubble Audio shows. You can also head over to patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to see all the goodies that we have in store for you there, if you'd like to donate even a very small sum of $1 a month towards the cause. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Beer with Geeks. That is all I have to say on the matter. Do you have anything to say?
I just have one final thing to say.
And that is
cheers.